This week's top Disney news stories include more coronavirus and Disney updates as the furloughs begin, and new info on multiple upcoming Star Wars shows. There are also some feel-good Disney stories and some new content available on Disney+. Stay tuned, and I'll break it all down. Well, hello there! My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now it's that time of the week once more, so on to this week's biggest Disney news stories. Our top story for this week is Star Wars, and some more Star Wars. Specifically, we've got news about 3 upcoming Star Wars series. First up, we've got a completely new Star Wars series that we didn't know about before that is now reported to be in the works. This is going to be a female-centric Star Wars series from some part of the timeline that we're not currently dealing with. And this is going to be from Leslie Hidlin, who was the co-creator and showrunner of Russian Doll, as well as the director of Sleeping with Other People and a few other things. We know that she will both write and be the showrunner for this Star Wars series. And that's really about all we know right now, so we got very little in details, but hey, this is yet another awesome Star Wars show coming. For anyone who knows me, you know I am all about more Star Wars stuff. So bring on some more Star Wars, and definitely see some more part of the timelines, and yes, let's have a female-centric Star Wars. Let's do it. Up next, we have news that Mandalorian Season 3 is already in the works. What we found out is the production design department has already begun its work on Season 3 as of April 20th. And for what it's worth, we also know that Season 2 is debuting in October. That's something we already knew. And that production on Season 2 wrapped in early March, so we aren't expecting a delay on that since the production already finished. So we're looking forward to lots more Mando in the future. And some Baby Yoda. At some point, I'll talk about some Mandalorian here on this channel. Definitely it will happen. The channel debuted a little late for me to be talking about it while it was actually airing. But I will certainly be around for Season 2 and Season 3 for being able to talk about it when it actually comes on the air. And you better bet I am excited to go ahead and see some more Mandalorian. Our third series that we've got Star Wars news for is we've got some more casting information for the Cassian Andor series. For those who aren't familiar, this is the Rogue One spinoff series that will be coming here in the future. It's going to be set about 5 years before Rogue One. And we already knew that Diego Luna is coming back to play Cassian Andor, as well as Alan Tudyk is coming back to play K2SO again. And we also recently learned that Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Soller will be in the show. But this week brings new news that Genevieve O'Reilly and Denise Gow will both be in the show as well. Now, Denise Gow, we don't have any idea what role she'll be playing. But Genevieve O'Reilly played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, and that's cool. Mon Mothma only had a relatively small role in Rogue One and Return of the Jedi. And she would have actually been in Revenge of the Sith, but it was a deleted scene that didn't actually make it into the movie. And for those who know books or other content that otherwise expands the Star Wars universe, you may be much more familiar with Mon Mothma and how important she is in terms of the Rebellion and the New Republic. So it's definitely exciting to get to see some more of Mon Mothma up on the big screen. Or small screen, I guess, as it's a TV series. And I thought Genevieve O'Reilly did a great job as Mon Mothma, so excited to see her come back and expand on the role. So there's 3 Star Wars series coming up, and of course the Obi-Wan one is still in the works as well, so we've got all kinds of Star Wars series to go ahead and look forward to, and right now, about a year and a half apparently till the next Star Wars trilogy starts, wherever that's going to be set. Although, high bets are for the High Republic. Hopefully you're looking forward to this all too. Our next story has some more updates about how coronavirus is affecting Disney and Disney's response. As is often the case, some of the biggest news coming out each week is often directly or indirectly related to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And this week is once again no exception. So first off, on this front, we have Shanghai Disneyland and some more information coming out there. We found out that they're reportedly testing some new social distancing measures. So there are images out there of how they're going to go ahead and work and try to keep people distanced from each other as they're in queue lines. They're also testing parade and castle light shows to make them work, although no details have come out on how the distancing will work for those events. And in indoor theaters, they've been testing as well and had cast members every other row, as well as separating groups by at least a few seats. So this is a few of the things they're starting to test in Shanghai Disneyland as they're probably getting closer to opening. In other Disney news, the furloughs began for a large portion of Disney's workforce last Sunday on the 19th. And there are a number of hardships being reported, especially with getting unemployment to work right now. So my heart goes out to everybody who's affected, and hang in there, and hopefully things will get better. In the parks, some things are still happening. Some of the normal events are going on. The animals are still being taken care of by the animal care team. The horticulture team is still upkeeping the flowers, upkeeping the trees and the topiaries. So life does go on in a somewhat reduced fashion. One other big piece of Disney coronavirus news that came out was Abigail Disney had a big Twitter thread where she talked about executive bonuses and the 2020 dividend plan and railed against it, especially considering how Disney has gone ahead and furloughed so many of its employees. Now, I'll have a link to that Twitter thread if you're curious to go ahead and read that. So to catch you up, the executive bonuses seem to still largely be going forward unaffected by anything we have yet seen. We've seen some executives go ahead and give up some of their base salary. Like Bob Chapek gave up half of his base salary, which would be half of $2.5 million. Bob Iger went ahead and gave up his base salary entirely, which is $3 million. But here's the thing. That makes up a small sliver of the money they actually make from Disney in a given year. Bob Chapek can be expected to get at least over $20 million this year from all the bonuses and that big incentive structure. Bob Iger, in 2018, actually made $65 million, and just last year made $47 million. The fact they have a base salary of $2.5 or $3 million very much doesn't show the real picture. Now, for Disney workers, the median amount a Disney worker gets is $52,000 in a year. Now, here's where it gets messy. Furloughing all of the park's cast members was estimated to save Disney a bit under $500 million per month. That adds up in a year to only make about $6 billion, so that's how much they would have to spend. Which, to go further, means that is less than 1/8 of what Bob Iger actually made just last year, and is around 1/3 of what Bob Chapek will make this year, even with foregoing half of his base salary. When you put it in this perspective, it becomes a lot more problematic. Because you clearly argue that if they were to take a bit more of a pay cut, and that's just the top 2 executives, let alone the other executives and their bonus packages. But if they were to take a bit of a cut to the amount of money they made, all those employees could still be getting paid. And this is the major reason Abigail Disney had a long ranting Twitter thread about Disney. Apparently she had been waiting to see if they would forego some of those bonus packages. And apparently the news came out that it looks like no, they are not going to. To put it another way, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek's bonuses, by themselves, end up being worth hundreds of times what their median workers end up earning in a year. One can understand the ire and the anger at how Disney treats its employees, but not its executives. Especially executives that so heavily are interested in cutting costs at Disney, which has been a case for both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek. Perhaps they should go ahead and cut some of their executive pay, especially in a year like this. If there's any time to go ahead and show that changes can be made, show that executives don't need to make so much more than the workers who we see every day and interact with, and make Disney as special as it is, now is the time. And with that, it's time for the lightning round. Here's a few quick stories. The Dapper Dans have a new Voices from Home video out. They're singing When I See an Elephant Fly this time. I'll have a link down below for you. The third MCU Spider-Man movie, the sequel to Far From Home, has officially been moved from July 16th to November 5th of next year. This was expected, but as Sony officially controls the release time, it had to wait till Sony made an announcement. Last week, ABC put out a Disney Family Sing-Along special, which is now available up on Disney+. So feel free to go check that out. There's a new Pixar Spark short called Loop which is up on Disney+. It's apparently promoting autism acceptance, and it should be a good watch, so go check it out. And finally, on the lightning round, the Disneyland Hotel recently used a bunch of their windows to make both a Mickey and a heart by lighting up just those rooms, so a nice way of broadcasting out to the world, nice hopeful message. And on that note of hopeful messages, let's move on to our final story for the week. A few Disney feel-good stories. So first off, we have a furloughed Walt Disney World cast member who created a cast member food pantry for their fellow cast members. And that cast member is Emily Lartigue. My apologies if I've mispronounced your name. She's been a cast member who has worked at Disney since 2013 and said that she just really wants to make sure to look out for her fellow cast members and make sure they know it's okay to ask for help in these times. As she said, quote, "Please don't be embarrassed or ashamed. Know that you are definitely not the only one out there who needs some help right now. And that's why we're here. That's why we were created, and you have fellow cast members that are going to have your back, and we're here to support you." End quote. So they've already filled up a storage unit with some non-perishable foods and toiletries, and they're taking cast members by appointment and 2 at a time in order to ensure social distancing. I'll have the information for how to make an appointment to go ahead and go there if you are a cast member who is looking to go ahead and go to that cast member pantry. So that's down below in the description. And also, if you are in Orlando or somewhere nearby and you are able to go ahead and donate to the cast member pantry, they are currently in need of items, especially for breakfast, such as oatmeal, snack bars, cereal. So thank you, Emily, for the great work you're doing for your fellow cast members. Just goes to show how good people really can be and how disasters really can bring out the best of us sometimes. And finally, let's end on a cute animal once more. A cute animal I had on a little earlier. This is our new porcupet that was born over at Animal Kingdom. Because now we have a name for that new porcupet. Its name is Shelly. Now, as is the case for a lot of the animals over at Animal Kingdom, they tend to get named after cast members. So this one has been named after Shelly, who is the veterinary operations manager over in Animal Kingdom. And the porcupet was named after Shelly, especially because of her dedication to training the porcupet's mom, who's named Prairie, which helped lead to ultrasounds really working out. And guess what? You can actually see some of those ultrasound sessions over in the One Day at Disney series over on Disney Plus, if in case you're curious. Shelly the porcupet is doing well, healthy, now up over 2 pounds, and she is triple her birth weight. Definitely some good news. Go Shelly the porcupet, and keep up the good work, Shelly the veterinary operations manager. So that's the news for this week. Did I miss any big Disney news stories you were really thinking about? Which Star Wars series are you looking most forward to? Let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. If you liked it, please give it a like, share it with anyone else you think is really going to enjoy this video too. I'll be back tomorrow with another new video, and if you haven't done it yet, please click that subscribe button and ring that bell. It really helps out. Have a magical day, and may the Force be with you always.